Hello everyone, this is Professor Tychek. I'm going to walk through your assignment for creating a dashboard. You won't believe how simple this is going to be once we get going here. The main thing is you have to read the instructions. You have to have watched that video. Okay, it's on Blackboard, so watch it again. There's one thing at the end when you're set up all your pivot tables that really kicks your teeth in. And here's what it is. I want you to focus on this. Remember before, we're ramping this up. This is a challenging course. You'll learn a heck of a lot, but there are some things you have to take some responsibility for. So let's open up this document, walk through it here a moment. Okay, so basically, yada, 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 great job, blah, blah, blah. Look at this file, create a dashboard. Note that the logo is up here. How do you get that? You double click the header, and then you can copy this thing. Okay, so that was step one of me ramping up this challenge. You have to start thinking for yourself a little bit. You have to start looking and exploring a little bit. These assignments are not going to take you just 1 or 2 minutes anymore. Okay? Some of them will take 15 minutes, some of them will take half hour. You've got to get your ducks in a row a little bit. So we're doing this thing called data, information, knowledge, right? Where we got all this data, we're going to organize it into information so that people, when they view it, can gain some knowledge. So we got some sales data. Okay? You're required to use a dashboard using the logo and then the color scheme of red, black, and yellow. What this means is I need to see all three colors in your dashboard. So red, black, and yellow. Red is the background. If you want to create slicers off of that, great. Black also needs to be there, and yellow. Okay? So no sherbet colors, just use those. You can use white, obviously, for a background of a slide or something. But don't get too crazy. Hide all of the tabs. Remember, I talked about this before. Hide all those tabs. Anything that's not useful, hide it. This is what you need to do. Number of stores offering product by category. Number of stores offering by product. So what this means is you're going to show all the products, um, and then have this one by product category. Here, you're going to do total sales by month for 2013. This will be a line chart. Note that it's 2013 only. It's not 2011 or 2012. Top products. Okay, when you think about this, how do you do this? Well, you're going to, by default, when you do a top of anything with a pie chart, you might as well not even say the word top because pie charts naturally will show you the largest slices. So in effect, it's already doing top products for you. Okay, so that was in your understanding of pie charts. I don't know if you took it for granted or you know what I was just saying there, but again, I warned everybody. If you just peruse through the book because you're like, I know what pie charts are, I know what column charts are, professor, you're going to miss some stuff. You're going to miss some strategy. You're going to miss some osmosis learning. So you do need to review. You do need to look through. And what I would challenge you on is think about it. Think about each of these charts that you read up in chapter 3. Think about how you might have used those in a different class, right? Different project, something along those lines. Then you'll need two slicers, temperature and product category. Right? Here is where it gets tricky. So many of you, when you've done this stuff, you've done it great. You've done this, but you missed out on these. Right? For whatever reason, you've created a pivot table that does not use the same source data. Okay? So that means if you're going to use A through Z on pivot table 1, you need to do that for all of your pivot tables, even if you only use A through T. Okay? You still have to reference A through Z, which is all of your data. Obviously, if this goes to AZ, that's what I'm assuming here, like start to end. The start column to the end column. Every pivot table, even if you don't use them all, even if you don't use all the columns in your pivot table, Excel is finicky. Excel wants you to use the exact same ones. Okay? So read this over again so you really understand that paragraph there. Okay? Each pivot chart, you need its own pivot table. Okay? So let's begin. Let's do some of this work here. Down the file. You'll note that there's a red background. I did that for you on purpose. Keep it. Don't change it. I've already done one of the color schemes for you, so you just have to figure out how to do black and yellow now. Okay? So now I've got a color scheme. Remember, data ink ratio and professionalism. I don't want to see any of these things. I just want to see the dashboard when you're done. Okay? So first things first, we need, if we're going to use 2013 data, and we need to combine it with this information here because it's going to be one of our slicers, we need to bring it over. Now note that the SKUs are in order here. Okay, I might not always give it to you in order, but you got 1 through 20 here, 1 through 20 here, or sorry, 1 through 100, 1 through 100 here. Okay. Because you've got a canvas that's did. Am I asking you for anything from 2011 to 2012? No, only 2013. Okay, that was another test of your ability to canvas and listen to instructions. We don't need these two. Gone. Hide them, delete them, whatever. They're gone. Okay, next, we've got to take this information over to dataset combined. Because I already gave it to you in 1 to 100, you don't have to look up anything. Be warned, I might not always give it to you in 1 to 100. But in this case, you can easily copy it over. Okay. So now you have your data set. Now you need to create pivot tables so that you can create pivot charts. Okay. Pivot charts are different than standard charts that you go up to the insert tab to do. Pivot charts move with your pivot table. Your slicer is going to adjust your pivot table. Okay. So it goes pivot table, pivot chart, driven by a slicer. So here we go. I'm going to create the first one. Number of stores offering the product by product category. What you might do is say, hey, see product category, number of stores that offer. Why don't I create a pivot table off of this? Wrong. As I said before, create your pivot tables using all of the same data, even if you don't use it. Excel hates it when you don't do that. Go to insert, pivot table. Check out all of my data here. Okay. Gonna create a new pivot table. Now what's my task? Number of stores offering product by product category. Okay. So we're going to do rows here. And my question to you is, obviously we need this variable here. But what are we going to do with it? Total number of stores? Well, guess what, folks? How many stores do we have? Well, let's look at the maximum here. We have 80 possible stores. How do we know that? Because I looked at the maximum. Okay? So use the maximum. Now, I want you to think about this for a moment. What is this visual telling you, or data telling you? What this says is there are 2,030 stores, but that's wrong. We only have 80 stores. Okay, so summing all of what summing is doing is it's taking 80 plus 80 plus 80 plus 80 plus 80 plus 80 for beverage and giving us 480. That's wrong. We need an average. Okay, so if anybody does this, you weren't thinking about your work. You weren't thinking about the data set. And that's what I challenged you on when we canvas data. Does it make sense? Correlation error. Summing this stuff up makes no sense. Okay, so you need to go down to pivot tables and change it to an average. Okay, so what this is now saying is the average number of stores. Now I challenged you before and I said, you get to create stuff. You get to play around and explore. As long as you can explain it to your boss, then it's going to be okay. So what you would do in a business meeting here is say, boss, on average, we have 62 stores selling the beverage line. Okay? On average, we have 62 stores doing this. On average, all of our stores are selling gambling. Okay? So let's make a pivot table. Or sorry, pivot chart. Just gotta move this guy here. I don't think you'll see this, but it's my recording button. So now we're gonna make sure to click on the pivot table. We're gonna go up to analyze, create a pivot chart, ask for a column chart. There we go. Here's our column chart. Okay. So here's what we do. I'm not gonna beautify this thing up for you. That's your task. I'm just walking you through this gently. Okay, so we've got a chart over here. Then clean this up. Total heading. Clean this up too. These are buttons. You don't need those. So go down here and hide all field buttons. Now you got some more real estate. Okay? So that's my product category. Now we need to create another pivot table to do number 2. This time, again, we're going to do the same data because Excel wants consistency. But this time, instead of product category, we're going to put product name. Okay? So we're still doing the same number of stores at offer. Okay? Now, this time, why is it okay with a sum versus an average? Well, let's think about it. Let's investigate a little bit. Okay? The reason for that is each of these products has their own line. It's already been figured out for you when you do your own line. So cherry soda has its own line. Grape soda has its own line. So in this case, it doesn't matter what kind of pivot table you do for average or sum because it won't sum anything up. The average is the sum. Okay? But again, we're going to go back up, analyze, pivot chart, create a column chart again. Okay? Paste this one over. Hooray, you've now done 2 of the 4 charts. Okay? Then clean up the field buttons. Right click on them, hide all field buttons. Okay? Work on the total, the headers. I'm going through this fast on purpose because I just want to show you what happens. Okay? So next, total sales by month, 2013. Now we have to go back, create another one. Okay? Insert, pivot table. So now, this one's going to be a little different. How do we need it? We need it total sales. Okay? So one way we could look at this, we could total it up, or we could do it by product category. Okay? As long as you do it in a way that you can explain it, that's what's key. In my situation, because I've already got a couple dashboards based on product category or product, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this a different way than you might perceive it. I'm going to create it by product because I want to see how our products are doing overall. Now, the challenge of this is now I want to put in 2000 January sales. So you got to be careful that you do this right. One after the other, add them in. If you mess it up, I will die. What I mean by that is if you put December before November or February before January, etc., I will dock you. So make sure these are correct. Okay. Click on a pivot, go up to analyze, pivot chart, and this time I want a line chart. Okay. I know it's going to look crazy. Okay. So I set it up. Now I want you to look at this. I did this on purpose to walk you through line charts. This is set up like a column chart. It's not set up like a line chart. Notice we don't have the month down here. If this ever happens to you, simply right click your chart, go to select data, and switch to one column. Hit OK. And now we've got it right. We've got the stuff going across. Okay. Now copy, paste over. Might need to adjust our chart so it lines up. Remember, that's so important. We are going to get rid of the field buttons. Gives us some real estate back. Now you might be saying, Professor, this looks crazy. This looks sick. Yes, it does. First of all, go back to your pivot table. Remember, I'm going to challenge you a little bit on your own. So you got to go back to your pivot table. You can rename all of these fields, right? Click on this one. If you go up to analyze, you can change the name. Get rid of some of. Okay? What that'll do is it'll give you some real estate back. Okay. So the last one is a pie. It's very similar. In fact, you can go back to this pivot table and create one based on the same data but a pie chart. Unfortunately, it's going to mess up your data because you've already got it set up in this order. If you flip it back, it'll mess up this. So what you need to do is go back and create a fourth pivot table. Again, grabbing all of the data. And now you can go back to, how did we want it? Top products. So products, here. And now we set up the data again. But oops, uh-oh, ding, 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 ding. The professor had a little trick. When we want products by sales, 2013 sales, and we want a pie chart, if we do this, it's not going to make a pie chart. It won't let you make a really good one. What it'll do is it'll just take January sales. It'll really mess your chart up. Okay? It's not going to work. So you need to go back. You need to go back to your spreadsheet and say, darn it, I should have looked at all the instructions and planned out this dashboard before I even started. Because you need total 2013 sales. So you got to sum all of these sales up all the way down. Okay? Go back to your pivot table, and what I want you to note here, you do not see a total, do you? Well, first of all, let's get rid of this junk here. That's because you created a pivot table that only went to Q. You need to go back and create your pivot table over again. But the fun way to do that is go up to Analyze and change data source. Change data source. And what I want you to note on your screen, it ends at Q. Replace that Q with an R. Okay? And now you've got total. Now keep in mind, this should not be new to you. I repeat, this should not be new to you. The Excel self-learning site had this in it. If you skipped over a lot of stuff in the Excel self-learning site, I'm sorry. Okay? That's what the site was created for, to help us remember some things that we did in the other Excel class and to give you tips on how to succeed in this class. So, I went into this assuming that you would canvas the data. I assumed that you would go and think about your strategy. Okay, 2013 sales and a pie chart. That's going to look crazy. It won't work because pie charts require one column, right? I know you've created pie charts before this class, so keep that in mind. Okay, so now we got 2013 sales. Okay, analyze. We're going to go up to pivot chart. Now we can create a pie chart off of total sales, and there it is. We're going to copy this, bring it over. Okay, make sure we have something of a similar size here. Okay, and keep in mind, if you do what I'm doing, you will not get 100%. What I mean by that is I'm sloppy. I'm purposely just giving you the good stuff. I'm not cleaning up my titles. I'm not cleaning up my legends and things like that. That's something you need to do. So now we have our 4 charts. We are missing slicers. We need 2 slicers, a temperature and a product category. Go to any of your pivot tables. Okay? Doesn't matter which one. On your pivot table, go up to Analyze, insert slicer, grab temperature and product category. Okay? I believe those are the 2. Yep. Okay. Grab both of them, copy them over to your dashboard. Okay. Now keep in mind, I'm not making this pretty. That's your job. Okay. I'm not identifying whether it's better to go horizontally or on the side. That's your job. Okay. My job is to walk you through it a little bit, but you've got to do some stuff yourself. Okay, what I want you to see here, because this is not going to work. If I click on cold, only one chart changes. If I click on food, only one chart changes. Why is that? Well, you need to click on your report, your slicers, go down to report connections. By the way, these instructions are down here. To do this, you need to right click the slicer once you get to the dashboard and report connections. Okay, so I'm going to right click, report connections. Professor, why do I only see why are 3 of these missing? That's because we didn't grab the same data for all the tables. Well, Professor, you did. You went from A all the way over to Q. Yes, I did. But remember, we added R late in the project. Uh-oh, son of a buck. So what that means is, for those first 3 pivot tables we created, we need to go up to the analyze and change the data source. We need to put in R for all 3 of those now. You gotta go back, do it again, change source, put in R, change source, put in R. Okay, that's what I meant when I said that each pivot table needs on, or each chart needs on pivot table. All pivot tables need to source the exact same sources. Okay. Now let's go back to our dashboard. Professor, it's still only doing one. What's going on? I thought you knew what you were doing. I do. Now right click, go to report connections. Do you now see 3 other pivot tables? Yes. Check mark those. Okay. Now check cold. Okay. Note that all tables have changed. Next. Gotta do it for this one. Check mark all these. Okay. Click on food. Note that all of them are changing. Some of them are faster than others. Okay, very good. You can take this a step further if you want. Play around a little bit. Go back to your slicers that you created. Create another one for fun. Okay? Create product name. Okay, bring that one over. Then this is just for fun. This class is about building and exploring. So now, created that, but I gotta go back to report connections. Check mark all of them. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. Now if I click lottery ticket, what happens? Everything changes. Maybe I want to compare different lottery tickets. See how they're all doing against each other. There we go. Look at that. Lots of great data that we can look at. If we were doing an analysis on lottery ticket sales, we could see that the $1 lottery ticket sells a heck of a lot more than any of the others. All right. You can go here. You can add data labels. You know, that's actually dollars. We can change it further. Format the data labels. You know, we can put in percentage instead, or category name, right? So look at that, beautiful stuff there. Very helpful, okay? So this is how you do the project, okay? Now it took me 24 minutes to explain it, okay? That's because I'm explaining along the way. Now again, you got to put the logo up here. Make these color schemes look yellow, okay, or black. How do I do this? Well, I go up to options, okay? I go in here, make red ones, okay? Make red ones, make red ones. There's another thing in here too for new slicer style. You can play with that. Make it background be yellow. But what I suggest you do is work in the yellow somewhere else. Okay? But that's the idea of it. Okay? Or even go back here and just change it all to yellow. There we go. That's nice. So now we've got a dashboard with these 4 charts. Enjoy.